Welcome back to watching Business Incorporated live on Channels Television. Now to our next conversation. In recent years, alternative lending and crowdfunding services have grown in popularity throughout Africa. And these platforms open up new avenues for people and small enterprises to obtain financing that was previously unavailable through traditional banking methods. But with inflation still high globally and central bankers still in the hawkish stance, what's next for crowdfunding in Africa? Joining me now is Dr. Roland Igbinoba, founder, CEO, PropCrowdy Limited. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, Ladi. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. So paint a picture of how crowdfunding is doing as an alternative to traditional financing. Is it really working, in these climes?
Well, the good news, Ladi, is that the Securities and Exchange Commission in January of 2021 approved crowdfunding rules. And if you look back to what has happened within the market, it is really a lack of trust. Within the agri-tech space, there were a lot of startups who were doing crowdfunding, but of course, because it wasn't regulated at the time, it had a problem. But with what we have today, with the regulations in place, I think alternative financing is really the way to go, especially for MSMEs. In trying to paint a picture, if you look at the MSME space in Nigeria, for example, we have over 40 million MSMEs, right? And over 67% of those MSMEs are owned by youth. So this means that these guys do not have either the capacity to get bank financing. And this is where crowdfunding is really, really taking shape. So what we have seen since the regulation came in is that currently about 2 startups have been given license by the Securities and Exchange Commission. I mean, those that we know. One of them is a firm that I'm also involved in, that I'm a founder of, which is PropCrowdy. And then there's another one that is Obilex. And so what is happening is that since that regulation, there's been a lot of trust being garnered in the market. But there's a lot that needs to be done. And as you know, with regulation, it means that the consumers have confidence. And just looking at the fact that MSMEs are unable to get funding from traditional financing institutions, what it means is that it's a good place for crowdfunding to start to bolster in the country.
All right, break it down for me now. Who gains more from the crowdfunding alternative? Is it a business raising the capital, or the multitude of investors providing that capital? Do investors make a good buck for their investment here?
Okay. So, Ladi, the way to look at this is it's in a very simple way. Is that look at bank balances, savings on bank deposits today. All right. At best, I think recently the CBN increased interest rates to about 4.2%. At best, what you get in your current account, or maybe in savings, will be anywhere around 5 to 6%. So if you leave your money there, that's what you earn. But if you get into crowdfunding, there's the possibility of earning anywhere between 15 to 20%. And when you come to real estate, which is where PropCrowdy, has its expertise, we're looking at yields, above market yields of around 9.5%. So to answer that question, both parties gained. One, the difficulty in MSMEs to raise funding is totally eliminated when it comes to crowdfunding. The speed with which they raise funding also comes to fall. Rather than going to the bank and being at the bank and asking for collateral and asking of all kinds of securities or collateral to be able to fund the MSMEs, with the crowdfunding, the MSMEs is quick to financing capital expenditure. On the other side, again, like I said, investors also gain. So the point is both parties, both the businesses and the investors gain when you talk about crowdfunding.
Well, I guess as a win-win in your opinion. But
yeah, absolutely.
What are the risks of alternative, lending and crowdfunding, platforms in Africa? Every investment comes with some kind of risk.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, so first and foremost, when this is done in an unregulated market, the risks are higher. So today in Nigeria, that it's been taken care of by what the Securities and Exchange Commission is doing by licensing startups. And like I mentioned earlier, 2 of these startups have been licensed already. Again, the traditional risk appraisal doesn't take away that is not left behind when you are doing crowdfunding. So, for example, an MSME who wants to raise money on the platform, we still have to undergo the capacity to pay. We still have to undergo the market fit. And so there are risks, but what we say is that these risks are mitigated. So, for example, the business that you are doing, what is the market size? Do you have, if you talk about real estate and you want to develop, say, a 20 unit of 2-bedroom apartment, for example, we are going to be asking you, how much is this selling for, right? Who is buying? Do you already have off-takers? So again, Ladi, the risks are there, but the good thing is that they are mitigated just as in traditional practice. The advantage for this is the speed to market and the fact that you can raise money from different people. Another thing that is important, Ladi, let me say is today, if you look at the real estate market, for example, for you to start to think about investing in real estate, you need to have upwards of maybe 500,000 naira or about ₦1 million. But today, with crowdfunding, with as little as 10,000 naira, you can invest in a real estate asset. And so that brings the win-win situation to the entire game. And so again, just to summarize on the answer to your question, there are risks, but these risks are clearly mitigated. Something else that is very important to touch on, Ladi, is that when you crowdfund under the regulations, the money stays with the custodian bank. There are about 8 custodian banks in the country today.
Right.
And so what SEC has said is that the money stays with the custodian bank, and then the custodian bank disburses the funding to the MSMEs. Okay. So the risk of some startup taking your money and running away is totally eliminated.
Yeah, we definitely need that eliminated because no one wants to lose their funds in that way. So much to unpack there. Thank you so much, Dr. Roland Igbinoba, founder of PropTech Nigeria. It's great having your perspective today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ladi. Thanks for having me.
That's Crowdfunding.